was recently watching another video on YouTube. It was a video that was created by this retired individual, and he was talking about the challenges of aging as a photographer. His passion was also photography, and he was really into landscape photography. He was talking about how it was a struggle for him, essentially in the mobility department, getting out, walking the paths, walking up hills, carrying gear. And he said that he had watched another person's video that was on that same topic. And he started thinking about this and he wanted to throw his 2 cents in. When I watched that, I started thinking about it myself because if you've been watching this channel, you know that my passion is photography. I absolutely love photography, but I don't have those mobility problems that he was talking about. However, I do have some challenges out there, and I wanted to talk about those today because maybe you might have these same challenges. And it might not just be in photography, it could be a musical instrument, or it could be golf or fishing or whatever your passion is. So, just a little back story on my photography. I did a 2-year college degree in photojournalism in 1979, decades ago. And I was pretty good in photography. I wasn't very good in much of anything else. I didn't have the vocational skills of like woodworking or machinery, automotive skills, or anything like that. I'd be somebody that would just lift up the hood of a car and look for the on-off switch to reboot the engine. My parents got a divorce when I was 10. I didn't have any brothers or anything that really gave me, what I would say that male influence there. But I really did find that I could do well with photography, and I was making some money in those early years. I was doing this work as a pet photographer for one. And I remember doing some really creative work because I was always doing creative work with my photography. I would take a portrait of a black poodle show dog, and then I would have a white vignette around it. It would look really cool. And this was all darkroom stuff back in the day. This was film, right? This was not digital. But anyway, I graduated from college, and that camera pretty much went into the closet for another 40 years. And I took a completely different path. I went into business, and then subsequently I went into technology. So where am I going with this story? It wasn't until retirement that I pulled the camera back out of the closet, and I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just try and get into this. And that was a few years ago. And today I absolutely love photography. I've fallen back in love with my first love with photography, and but one of the things that I often think about, where would I have been if I just played with that camera on weekends, or it didn't sit there and collect cobwebs in the closet, but I actually would have used it. And the reason for saying this, I'm into some photography groups right now, and there's a number of people that are just shy of my age and are still in the workforce, but they picked up cameras very early on in their life. Some of them with me when they were 13 or 15 years old. But the difference is they never really put their cameras down. Now, they did go into different bodies of work. I went into technology and banking, done things, but they never really stopped enjoying photography. And I often ask myself, these people they are just absolutely, they take gorgeous pictures out there, and they're so far above the level of where I am. And I often ask myself, if I would have just kept up my photography, where would I be at this time? And that's a dangerous thing to think about because, and this is what I've recently discovered, you got to stop asking the questions of what if and start asking the questions of what now, because you can't go back in time. You can't do anything. There's a really good book out there that also helped me really with this new question, what now? It's a book by Darren Hardy called The Compound Effect. And in this book, he talks about something called the magic penny. And what he does is he asks you, what would you rather have right now? $3 million front and center cash. You can take it right now. Or would you prefer one penny that will double in value every single day for the next 31 days? It sounds pretty obvious, right? You're going to take the $3 million. But then he shows the math breakdown of how that penny goes from essentially one penny the first day, 2 pennies the second day, 4 pennies the third day, 8 pennies the next day, 16 pennies the next day after that. And by the end of 31 days, you're over $10 million. He puts the point that, guess what? You're going to have 3 times more than that $3 million. It's a really fascinating read. And he goes through a lot more of these examples in this book. Again, it's called The Compound Effect. I highly recommend it. But when I read that and I think about it, when I think about what now, I ask myself, Bill, what if you just stick with your photography for the next 10 years? Where are you going to be? You're going to be much further ahead in your journey than where you're at right now. And quite frankly, I have no plans of going anywhere. I know, that I have more days behind me than I do ahead of me. I accept that fact. But right now, I'm very optimistic, very positive that I'm not going anyplace. I'm still going to be around in 10 years. And I think about, gee, where might I be in 10 years? Maybe I'll be having some of my work show in galleries or in magazines or whatever. So take this from me about where don't ask yourself what if, ask yourself what now, because what is possible in the next, say, 5 or 10 years, I think it will make a big difference. It has for me. So anyway, I hope you found this video informative and useful. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell notification as I do upload new videos each week, and I'd hate for you to miss one. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll look forward to talking to you next week. Take care.